Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are unpacking the holy grail, and honestly, the single biggest debate in personal finance. We're talking about the 4% rule. We're going to break down the math, trace where this idea even came from, and answer the ultimate question. Is this classic, old-school rule still the absolute gold standard for your financial freedom?
So, imagine you retire with $1 million today. How much can you safely pull out every single year without going broke? It's the million-dollar question, right? Literally, we all want that answer. We just want that peace of mind, knowing the magic number that makes sure our hard-earned nest egg actually outlasts us. Now, for decades, millions of people have relied on one incredibly straightforward guideline to answer this exact question. But as the economy shifts and changes, a lot of leading experts are fiercely debating if that old math still holds up today. So here's our roadmap to figure this all out. First, we'll cover what the 4% rule actually is. Second, how the math works in the real world. Third, we'll ask if the rule is still safe today. And finally, we'll go over how to actually improve your retirement success.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Part 1. What exactly is the 4% rule? Well, the 4% rule isn't just some random guess. It actually comes from the famous Trinity Study back in 1998. Basically, 3 finance professors crunched decades of historical market data. We're talking through the Great Depression, the crazy stagflation of the 70s, the whole shebang, just to find a withdrawal rate that wouldn't die before you do. And their absolute sweet spot? 4%. This was based on a 30-year retirement window, assuming you hang up your hat around age 65 and need your money to comfortably last until you're 95. The mechanics here are just brilliantly simple. Step 1, you withdraw exactly 4% of your total portfolio value in year 1. Step 2, and listen, this is where so many people trip up. You don't just keep taking 4% of whatever your remaining balance is forever. No, you take that initial year 1 dollar amount and you adjust it for inflation every single year. So if inflation jumps up 3%, your withdrawal bumps up 3%, which makes sure you can still buy the exact same amount of groceries 10 years down the road without, resorting to eating cat food. All right, moving on to section 2, how the math actually works. Let's attach some real dollars and cents to this theory. Take a second and find your own target bracket here. If you've got $500,000, that gives you $20,000 a year, or roughly $1,666 a month. Step up to that $1 million portfolio we talked about at the start, and you're sitting at $40,000 annually. If you've been a super aggressive saver and hit $2 million, you're looking at $80,000 a year. What's so great about this is it gives you a totally tangible target. If you know you need exactly $40K a year from your investments to live comfortably alongside Social Security, well, your finish line is a clean $1 million. But, and this is a huge but, you can't just stuff that $1 million under your mattress and call it a day. This entire math equation assumes your money is actively working for you in a diversified portfolio. We're typically talking a 60-40 split here, 60% in stocks for that long-term growth and 40% in bonds to keep things stable. Now, sure, some retirees tweak this to 70-30 or even 80-20, depending on how much risk they can stomach, but the big takeaway is that your investment returns absolutely have to do the heavy lifting to replenish what you're pulling out. If they don't, inflation is just going to drain your account totally dry. Now, financial planners absolutely love this rule because it gives you a dead, simple target and completely removes that emotional urge to panic sell when the market gets scary. You literally just follow the formula. No overthinking required. However, we are dealing with some serious modern villains today. We've got stubbornly high inflation, people living way longer, pushing retirements way past that original 30-year window, historically weird bond yields, and healthcare costs that are just skyrocketing. The financial world has completely transformed since 1998. Which brings us to section 3. Is the rule actually still safe? Let's take a look at these modern challenges. Okay, the absolute biggest threat to this rule is something called sequence of returns risk. Imagine you finally retire, you're on top of the world, and in year 1, the stock market immediately tanks 20%. Because you're blindly following a rigid 4% rule, you are forced to sell your investments while they're massively down just to pay your light bill. You permanently lock in those losses, which brutally shrinks the base of money you have left to grow when the market finally recovers. Bad market timing in those first few crucial years can derail everything, literally no matter how perfectly you planned. Because of that terrifying sequence risk, a lot of leading experts today are actually suggesting pulling things back to a 3.5% withdrawal rate. Now, yes, I know, that means you either need to save a bit more before you pull the plug on working, or you've got to spend a little less month to month. But doing this provides a massive safety cushion for modern retirees who might easily live well into their 90s.
Dropping to 3.5% dramatically increases your statistical odds of never running out of money. It's basically paying a tiny premium for absolute peace of mind. And this brilliantly illustrates a major shift in modern financial planning, the guardrail strategy. Instead of just blindly bumping up your withdrawal every single year no matter what, you adjust it based on what the market is actually doing. The market has an amazing year? Awesome. Give yourself a raise. The market crashes? You just tighten your belt slightly until things bounce back. It's like putting literal financial guardrails on your portfolio to keep it safely on the road, speeding up or slowing down as the economic weather changes.
Finally, let's look at Section 4, improving your retirement success with some totally actionable steps. So, who actually benefits from using this 4% baseline? Honestly, pretty much everyone. Whether you're a traditional retiree leaving the workforce at 65, some aggressive follower of the FIRE movement quitting your job at 40, a married couple pooling your cash, or you're just flying solo, it acts as this immediate, incredibly powerful diagnostic tool. It gives you a much-needed reality check on whether your current savings are even in the right ballpark for the kind of lifestyle you actually want. So, the crucial point here is knowing exactly what traps to avoid once you've got that baseline set. Look, treating your first few years of retirement like one massive blank check vacation will drain your portfolio exactly when it's most vulnerable to that sequence risk we talked about. Add in the silent, creeping erosion of ignoring inflation, keeping way too much uninvested cash just sitting on the sidelines, panic selling the second there's a downturn, or just wildly underestimating your future healthcare bills, you've got a surefire recipe to completely sabotage an otherwise perfectly healthy portfolio. To combat those exact mistakes, you've got dynamic levers you can actively pull. Over on the income side, you can delay taking Social Security, which significantly boosts your guaranteed monthly payout. Or, hey, maybe continue some part-time work doing something you actually enjoy. On the portfolio side of things, maintain a really robust cash emergency fund so you never, ever have to sell stocks when they're down. Ruthlessly control your investment fees, make sure you diversify, and rebalance your accounts every single year. You can't just passively rely on a math rule, you have to actively manage your wealth. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to remember that the 4% rule is an incredibly useful compass. It is not a magical guarantee. Your absolute greatest asset in retirement isn't just the cash in your bank account, it's your flexibility. The goal isn't simply to retire, it's to build a retirement that can comfortably support the life you want for decades to come. So, looking at your own numbers and the crazy dynamic world we live in today, are you just trying to drag yourself across the finish line? Or are you actually building a flexible strategy so you can thrive for the entire marathon? Thanks so much for learning with me today, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.